let's see Star Wars in another setting like the Old Republic or High Republic. Like, let's throw in some curveballs and really make this thing interesting. First, I wanted to touch on the recent news that the president of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, is now out, and there's new leadership coming in to Lucasfilm with Dave Filoni and Lynwen Brennan. Dave Filoni, if you don't know, he's well. Do you know Dave Filoni, David?
No.
So he
Sounds like a pasta.
It does sound Filoni. He is a very accredited writer, producer, director of lots of the Star Wars animation projects. But of course, more recently, he's developed the Mandalorian show. He's developed the Ahsoka show. He's been tied to some other project as well on Disney Plus. But in terms of films, he hasn't really scratched that. And so lots of people question, is he up for the job? Can he handle the task of being a studio head for directing Star Wars in a new direction, or just putting Star Wars on the trajectory to really make a comeback? Because, since Rise of Skywalker, it's been rough. I mean, Mando has been good the first two seasons, but season 3, I'm sorry, was low-key garbage. It was not fun for me. There were moments for sure, but it just wasn't good. And I mean, what's great is like you've had Jon Favreau, who's a highly accredited director, who's helped Filoni on his directing journey. So he's had experience with that. But yeah, in terms of steering Star Wars in a new direction, it's curious to see, because Filoni is very attached to certain characters, especially because he has such an animation sensibility where he's dealt with characters for multiple years and he wants to keep using those characters. And lots of Star Wars fans want to see something new. We don't necessarily, I mean, I want to speak for everyone, but at least for me, I don't want to keep seeing like the same characters just doing what they're doing. Like, let's see Star Wars in another setting like the Old Republic or High Republic. Like, let's throw in some curveballs and really make this thing interesting. So, David, what's your thoughts on new leadership? What are you possibly hoping could come from new leadership at Lucasfilm?
What everyone is hoping for is better movies with richer characters and deep lore. And with the sequel trilogy that we got with 7, 8, and 9, a lot of fans were very upset with how that went down and how that ended. I think they make a good case for it. A lot of instances seemed like it didn't really make sense. So I think what fans are hoping for is just is deep characters and a rich story, and it feels like they're not talked down to. And with streaming, I think because he's worked on shows, I don't think that necessarily disqualifies him from being on movies, because shows are like movies now. They're produced like movies. They're produced like, if an 8-episode show, 8-hour-long movies. That's what it feels like anyway. So I don't think that would disqualify him from doing that. But just kind of I almost feel like you need massive amounts of Star Wars knowledge to
Which he has. That is, yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, because he definitely has. Like, he's kind of essentially like he worked directly with Lucas, so he knows lots. He's essentially like the encyclopedia in a sense.
Okay, I mean
So
that should be exciting for Star Wars fans everywhere, to have someone, as the encyclopedia, the Google, the ChatGPT of Star Wars in human form.
yeah,
To
absolutely.
have him be the studio director, creating movies. Hopefully, I think that should excite Star Wars fans everywhere.
Yeah, here's hoping. And I'd say for the most part right now, fans are very skeptical, just because of his track record, and it hasn't been great in terms of the live action. I mean, of course, like Mando season 1, season 2 were pretty great, but then it kind of trailed off. And we'll see with Ahsoka season 2 coming later this year. We'll see.
A lot of people
I'm
like Andor. Is Andor good?
Andor's great, but that's not Dave Filoni.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's Tony Gilroy, who worked on Rogue One, and that was his like love child. That was his project, Tony Gilroy. So
a lot of people
Filoni,
like Rogue One more than 7, 8, and 9 combined.
yeah, Rogue One
I
was so good.
I need to see that again.
That's great. Yeah, I had no idea it made $1 billion.
It made a
Great.
billion.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I can maybe see why Star Wars fans would be like, "Hey, maybe we should have gotten that guy who had a successful post Disney a Star Wars film,
Yeah.
who had a very successful one that fans loved too. It wasn't just the critics, because
Hmm.
the critics love 7, 8, 9, but it wasn't. It wasn't just the critics that loved it. It was the fans that loved it, and he's making one now, Andor, which a lot of people really like. So now, as a Star Wars fan, I might be like, okay, wait, maybe I have pause here about this, because like you said, Mando season 3 was kind of dog water.
And Ahsoka season 1 wasn't great.
Yeah, so now I'm like, maybe. Okay, so
Yeah. We'll
only
see. It's a big question mark. I mean, but what's great is he loves Star Wars. So I mean there's that. That's very key. That's great. So and plus he has someone with him with Lynwen Brennan, who's she's been an executive, so she's gonna handle more like the business side. So like their partnership is gonna be very similar to how the DCU is running with James Gunn and Peter Safran. So you're gonna have one who handles more of the creative and one who handles more of the business.
okay.
So that's good because I know studio heads, especially someone like Kevin Feige, he is overworked and he's said it multiple times. He's like, yeah, it's a lot. So to have two people run a studio, that sounds like the way to go.